Hello folks, this is the HBJ, and we are live. This is Ruck, Rants, Volume 4. Today's music is brought to you by Yngwie Malmsteen and the Rising Force. The song currently playing is Red Devil, off the album Perpetual Flame. Absolutely masterful. Absolutely great. Go buy it. So today's rant is driving. Driving, you say? Yes. There's a handful of things that have to do with driving that just piss me the fuck off. I'm gonna headline things that piss me off by talking about turn signals. Okay. Use them. Every single car in the world has a fucking turn signal. If you're gonna switch lanes, if you're gonna make a turn, put on your fucking turn signal, especially if you're on the fucking highway. There's nothing that chaps my ass more, boils my blood more, and I'm driving to or from work, and some dick cheese is driving, thinking that they own the road, probably on their cell phone talking, probably a video chat at that, and they're just driving like they're the only ones on the road. Use your goddamn turn signal. Knock it the fuck off. Nobody's impressed. Put your goddamn phone down while you drive. Or put it on speakerphone. Or hook it up to your car so you can talk through your car. I don't like that, so I put everybody on speakerphone. So, use a goddamn turn signal. That should be going without saying. Nobody should be making turns without using a turn signal, because you're just pissing everybody else off. You're going to cause accidents. I've seen many accidents in my day because idiots don't want to use a turn signal. And since we're sort of kind of on this topic of turn signals, the next thing I want to jump into is, just because you have a turn signal on, I see this a lot with semi-drivers, and again, assholes who are just on their phone or not even paying attention, they just think, because I have my turn signal on, I can make a lane change. Listen, dick cheese, you can't make a lane change if there's somebody right next to you. Look in your rearview mirror, check both mirrors, turn the fuck around and look behind you. Make sure nobody's right there, so when you change lanes, you're gonna fucking crack them or cause them to have to swerve to miss you. Like I said, this shit should be all going without saying, but every single day of my life driving, somebody's always got a turn signal on and switching lanes without paying attention to who in the fuck is all around them. Knock it off. The next thing is, if there's an accident or somebody's getting pulled over, quit slowing the fuck down. Everybody's got somewhere to be. Stop causing traffic jams and slowing up the flow because you want a rubberneck. And you wanna find out what's going on. Oh, a cop's pulling someone over. Let's see what's going on. Or let's drive real slow under the speed limit because there's a cop there. Newsflash, that cop's pulling somebody over. If you do the speed limit, past them, I guarantee you 100 times out of 100, unless you swerve at the cop while he's trying to give the dude a ticket, he is not going to stop what he's doing to get back in his car and chase after you. stop slowing down. Especially with accidents. Unless there's blood and guts all over the road. There's people running around on fire. Stop slowing down. That brings up another thing. People who drive under the speed limit. It's always been my understanding, for the most part, unless you got somebody with something to prove or just not having a good day, for the most part, cops will let you go 10 miles over-ish. So, at least go between 5 and 10 miles over. If you're on a goddamn highway and you're going under the speed limit and you're in the middle to the speed lane, you're just an asshole. A complete asshole. And unless you're old. If you're old, you've earned your right to be that asshole, but everybody else who's not old, you haven't earned it. Knock it off. Enough's enough. Do the speed limit. For the most part, especially on certain highways, especially where I live in Chicago. Actually, I don't live in Chicago. I live in the south suburbs, but I work in Chicago. And all the highways, they could stand to probably raise the speed limit 5 to 10. But that being said, just don't go under. There's nothing more annoying than going under. Another thing, and I know this is a long rant, but that's what this is for. Throwing on a ruck and talking shit and being mad. If you're gonna do one of two things, you're in a traffic lane and you're gonna turn onto a side street, or you're on a side street and you're gonna turn into the lane. We're gonna talk about both those because both of them piss me off. The first one, if you're turning off into a side street, you don't need to come to a complete stop to make that turn. Yeah, you gotta slow down. You're not gonna make the turn at 45 miles an hour in a 90-degree turn. I get it. But you don't need to slow down to 5 to make that turn. Other ways, you're coming out and going into the flow of traffic. Again, nothing chaps my ass more when I'm doing the speed limit and somebody pulls into traffic and they're doing 15 miles an hour, and then you gotta basically slam on your brakes and then build back up to the speed limit because this horse's ass doesn't want to either wait or just come out and drive. They want to come out and drive slow. People are dumb. There should be laws against everything I've mentioned so far. And people should have 3 strikes and then there's a death penalty. You get put in an Iron Maiden and they close the door on you. Cheap plug to Iron Maiden. But that's what should happen. I would say 80% of the people who do this stuff, I'd say 20 to 30-year-old people. They're not old. They're not young. Young people drive like assholes. They're not going to drive slow. They're not going to make slow turns. Old people drive pretty normal. But, all that being said, this Ruck rant comes to an end. And the Ruck itself is John Tyndall approved. Greatest squad leader I've ever known. One of the greatest humans I've ever known. One of the greatest military people I've ever known. 101st Airborne, Bravo Company, 2nd of 502nd. This is Papa Pass, HBJ, out.